Hi, it's Karen of Port Prep, and I would like to give portfolio students some advice for the summer. It's a great time. Maybe you've recharged a bit on holidays or at the cottage, and you got some energy again. So there's about 1 month left of summer, really, a month and a half before you head off back to school again. So this is your chance to get some creative work done without feeling so stressed. Like enjoy yourself. And that's a great thing for creativity because when you're stressed, there's a lot of things on your mind. It can really interrupt the creative process. So this is awesome. And so I really encourage you to make portfolio pieces that where you can kind of have fun and explore and try new things without a sense of the pressure of having to make required pieces. So you might try things like throwing paint or drawing in an unusual way, like by dripping ink or something like that, by using your tools in unusual ways. Like what marks can you make with your Conte stick or by hitting the side of your brush pen or something? Um, Take a chopstick and draw with ink or drip it with the end of your brush. Like make a few creative pieces. And maybe if you're an animation student, um, you might try doing what I think his name is Stephen Graham. Is that right? I'll have to look up his name. Anyway, you could like drop some paint from above onto a page and then make it into a character. And then see what does that character look like? Could you think of a story scenario where a crazy character like that could be part of it and then make a backstory and create some other characters to go with it? Like try just some really creative things or play with different shapes and what characters could you make? Um, let's say you're an architecture student and you want something more creative. Maybe you could try making something with weaving pieces of newspaper um, or something found. I mean, go for a beach walk and find some beach grass and weave it into a drawing or something. So let yourself play, basically, while you've got time. The other thing to do in the summer is to look if there's any workshops that you could sign up for to learn different kinds of things than you normally do during the school year. There are portfolio camps in the summer too. So some colleges run them, and so that's a great chance. If you can study at a school of your choice or a related one or go on a trip somewhere where you could take a portfolio camp. And that's a wonderful experience and way to build your skills and see what other students and peers are doing in the creative area you're interested in. That would be a great thing to do this summer. There's also lots of great vacation spots where your family can be off doing a cool thing while you're taking a really interesting creative workshop like the Southampton School of Art in Ontario, wonderful beach town. They have fantastic courses and workshops. There's also the Haliburton School of Art up in the Haliburton kind of cottage country. Beautiful things the family can do, and you can do too while you're there, but really cool workshops. So look for things like that in your community, wherever it is you live, or a vacation spot where it can be fun but creative too. That's a great thing to do this summer. The other thing, of course, is just to build your skills and start making some things for your portfolio before the stress of your senior year hits. Or maybe you're going to be in a freshman college year or a certificate program like an art fundamentals. Have a look to see what kinds of things your program is going to cover and what they're not. Because a lot of what you do in the certificate program could be used in your portfolio, but some of it won't cover what you really need. So is there something you could get done this summer ahead of time or practice for ahead of time? Watch some tutorial videos that you could find on YouTube or Vimeo, or find a YouTube channel or a tutorial art training online that would give you some of those skills, or find a course you can take to give some of those skills. So let's see, a lot of our students, they're either architecture and interior design or animation and illustration. Those are the most students that come to help us at Port Prep. And so those students, like if you're in architecture, interior design, some things that are good to learn how to do is to draw a staircase, for example. That's one thing. Ryerson Interior Design likes to see that. Both Humber and Ryerson often like to see that you can draw a chair in perspective from observation, though. That's something you could practice or learn how to do. Architecture, you know, it'd be good if you could build a model or build something 3D. This is also great for interior design. Like maybe you could take a course like in hand building and pottery, or woodworking, or making something, you know, like a fountain or something, I don't know, and make it kind of cool. Or just build one of your ideas as a scale model. I mean, that would be really fun and cool too. So some of these time-consuming things you could maybe get done this summer and work on some skills that maybe you're a bit worried about and you don't want to have to stress over next year. So like perspective drawing is often challenging for a lot of students, both animation, illustration, and the design areas. So you could do that. Now sometimes it's hard to find courses on perspective drawing. I know the Toronto School of Art runs some. I don't know if they do in the summer, but they do in the fall. So look for things like that. Still life drawing or painting is a great thing to learn how to do. And a lot of small art schools offer just basic drawings courses and some perspective drawing. So those things are really good to start studying. And if you're looking for something a little more specific, you might want to look for a portfolio camp for your area interest. Like what we do at Port Prep, we have our animation illustration summer camp. It's our 5th annual one this year, and it runs from August 6th through to the 18th. It's an intensive summer camp, 3-hour long classes per day, except for Sundays where we work from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. instead. And it's really great, intensive learning opportunity. I can tell you more about that another time. We also have an architecture one this year. We've kind of been always sort of tacking on our architecture and interior design students with the animation camp. This year we have a separate camp that's also got a few blended courses with the animators, and it's kind of fun to see what each other creates and realize that there's so much crossover from one area of art and design and another, and it's fun to collaborate and learn together because some of the foundational skills are the same no matter what area of the arts you want to go into. And so we're going to have a great time in that one. It also runs from the 7th to the 17th, it's just a little bit shorter than our animation one. And we're going to learn all kinds of different things in both those camps, like how to draw accurately from vision, how to draw our ideas from imagination and have them look good, how to draw perspective, how to come up with ideas for your designs, whether it's for interiors, architecture, or your characters and the scenery. We're going to learn how to digitally paint and use different software, and how to make a really great portfolio for either of those areas. And the thing that's so cool that students love about that is that we bring in students who have been accepted in the last couple of years or in this current academic year that we're just coming into, and they can share with you some of their insights, what worked for them, what didn't work for them, what challenges they had, what advice would they give now that they've been through it that maybe you could take to heart and make it just a little bit easier for you. So those are all great things that are really popular at our camps. So I encourage you to ask about our camp. We still have some spaces left. It's getting tight, but we do still have spaces. So reach out to us at portprep.com and fill in a form and send it off to us, or email me at portprep1@gmail.com. Let me know if you're interested, and I can send you some information. The other thing too, we're going to have a Q&A, a live Q&A on Thursday night with Garth Laidlaw. He is an animator and our animation teacher. He works as an illustrator and as an animator, and he's a graduate from Sheridan Animation. And so you might have questions about how to make a portfolio, how to get into Sheridan. And that's where a lot of students come to us wanting to get into Sheridan because it is such an amazing school. And but we help students get into other animation programs too, like Seneca, CalArts, Ringling, SVA, Pratt, Parsons, you name it. We help students figure out where they need to do to get accepted into those sorts of schools and what kind of learning is required to build a portfolio. It's a long-term commitment in any of these 4 areas that we focus a lot on at Port Prep. It takes several months, even a year, sometimes 2 or 3 years to build the skills and make that portfolio at the level that you need to get into these really competitive and top ranked programs that really give you an excellent education. And if you can get into one of the top ranked schools, great. Like, of course, you would want to do that. There's, of course, lots of other opportunities that are excellent educations too. Whatever it is you want to do, find a way to make it happen for you that fits you. It fits your budget and your personality, all that stuff. If you're not sure about what to do or how to get there or what school to go to, I give a free portfolio assessment. I'd be happy to look at your work and talk with you or you and your parents. There's no charge for that. I just love helping students find the right path for them and find a path that's going to work for you. So I guess I just wanted to give anybody advice, like whether you want to come to our summer camp or another one or not, or work on your own. What can you do this summer that would help it make it easier next year? So I give you a few ideas already. I would say, the main thing to focus on is getting your foundational skills, like learning how to draw really well is great for any of the visual arts, but it certainly helps the ones that we've just been talking about: interior design, architecture, animation, illustration. You've got to be able to visually communicate your ideas, right? And so you've got something in your head that you want to bring into life. Like, how do you do that? The more you can see and draw what you see from observation and learn how that works, understand how to draw geometric objects and how to draw perspective and how to draw organic forms. The more you can do that from vision, the easier it is to create it out of your imagination, what you're seeing in your mind's eye, how to get that onto the page in a way that other people see what you're imagining and they can get excited about what you're creating too. And so it's just such an exciting thing to be able to actually draw what you're imagining and have it look like what you're thinking of, or at least close and believable to other people. And so that takes practice. So let's say you want to self-teach. A great way to do that is to get a used copy or a new one of Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards. Her methods, they work. They absolutely work. People who thought that they could never draw follow her methods, and then suddenly they can draw. So that's a great thing that you can do on your own for sure. I have a Drawn to Success study guide that kind of is a companion study guide with video links and little drawing exercises that kind of go along with Betty Edwards' book if you want to accelerate your learning a little bit faster, or maybe you're not the type of person who wants to read a book from cover to cover and do everything in it. My study guide kind of gives you a short version of what to do and how to use those methods, what chapters to really look at in her book in more detail than not. So you could reach out to me about that. But there's loads of great advice on the internet. So look out there, find people that you find, hey, that makes sense to me, and follow the tutorials, learn how to draw. And then, like I said, do things that stretch your creativity and really have fun with that. Like, we want individual, original thinkers. So look around the world around you as much as possible to just become aware of what are people creating today, how do they make that, get a sense of what inspires you, And then, start creating your own ideas, your own characters, your own designs, and just play with sketching them. Like, fill a sketchbook. If you could just make a sketchbook this summer, of anything and everything, from drawing your coffee cup in the morning to an idea that you're thinking of, to drawing your dog, your cat, whatever you can think of, out at the beach or at the cottage, drawing your friends, go out in the cafe and sketch people, draw some plants. I don't care what, just draw. And then maybe take what you're drawing and make something creative out of it. Make it your own somehow. That would be a great thing to do this summer. I guess that kind of, I guess there's one other advice. Look into what are the required pieces in the portfolios, research the schools that you want to go to, and see what they're asking for in the next academic year for the next portfolio application, and start making any of the pieces you think you could make in advance. Sometimes you have to wait till you actually apply to find out specifically what you have to do for each portfolio submission. But there probably are some things you can do now. Just get them out of the way. It's going to make it so much easier next fall and winter. The other thing I really recommend people do is search for a good education path for you. So let's say you're in your final, you're going to be going into your grade 12 year, and you're dreaming of going to, Ryerson or Waterloo Architecture or Sheridan or CalArts Animation. Like, those are two top schools that people look for example. And there's loads of others that are really top ranked too. But let's say you're just dreaming for this dream college, and it's really competitive to get into. How are you going to get there? Some students can get accepted out of high school from their senior year. Please be aware that it is a lot of work. Like, every moment you're not in school or not at your job, you are working on your portfolio or taking courses to build skills you don't quite have yet. So the fall is the perfect time to sign up for extra courses, because winter's a little bit too late. You're going to be working on your portfolio and just putting on the finishing touches. So August is a perfect time to look for what courses are being offered in September. Get on the registration list right away. The other thing to do is to research other schools you can apply to, because frankly, you might not get accepted on your first try. It's a really common experience for top ranked schools that sometimes it takes the second time to get accepted, and sometimes even the third. Some students have to do some foundations training, design fundamentals or design foundations, art fundamentals, take a year off and just work on your portfolio and save some money for school, that kind of thing. That's what a lot of students do. But look to see if there's a program out there that you can apply for as a backup plan to your dream school, and make sure you apply in time so that you've got that as your backup plan to keep building your skills. I really think even if you're not sure if you can get accepted the first time, it's still totally worth doing the portfolio, because you learn so much and it pushes you to, it helps you find out where you're strong and what you love and where you're a little weaker and where you need to learn some more. And that's really good information. And then if you go through the portfolio once, even if you don't get accepted the first time, you get all these insights about, what do I need to do to make my portfolio? How can I make it better next time? Just to know what it's like to go through it, and it makes it so much easier. Like, every time I've talked to a student who's applied and made more than one portfolio, they always have these really amazing insights that they use the next time, and then they're successful. So one way to learn some of those things is to look what other students have done. There's tons of things posted that you can find out about. And you can also tune in for our summer camp portfolio days. When we have those, we're hoping to live stream it this year if that will work well enough. At least we post the videos though, so that you can hear from students and get their advice, what worked for them, what they learned from doing the portfolio the first, second, or even third time sometimes, and that you can use to make it easier for yourself. So when you're looking for that backup school, this could be to say, hey, maybe I don't need to go to the top ranked school. Maybe it's better for me to go to a second or third tier school, because maybe you just say, you know what, I want a career in whatever area. And honestly, you don't need the absolute toughest school to get into to still have a career. That might suit you. If that doesn't suit you and you're like, no, I want the best school, then how do I get there? So that means that you need to look for a school that has really good foundations training. And so when you're looking at a university or college program, you're going to look to see, do they have observational drawing? Do they have life drawing? Do they have perspective drawing? Do they have still life drawing? Do they have something that teaches me how to be creative and where they teach about the design process? Make sure that the education is really solid and mostly around foundations. Maybe there's some introduction to software, but honestly, the most important thing in a first year program or certificate program is learning the basics, right? So like those foundational skills. So if you're going into design, you want to learn how to draw structurally, like object drawing, and from the perspective point of view, also from your imagination, you're going to want some 3D, like building design stuff in there. You're going to want to learn about the design principles and elements, a bit about graphic design, an introduction, maybe to Photoshop and some 3D modeling, maybe. It's not absolutely critical though, it's the thinking, the understanding that matters. So those are things to look for. In Ontario, programs that I recommend would be Art Fundamentals at Sheridan College, Art Fundamentals at Seneca or Humber. Those are good too. Definitely Design Foundations at Humber College is really a solid program. Especially if you're interested in industrial design, in architecture, graphics, that kind of thing. They're really good around the interiors, the more sort of 3D types of design. They're good for graphics too, but if you're interested in graphics, the foundations programs at like almost any program like George Brown or Humber, or there's a good design foundation at Conestoga College. If you're particularly a little more interested in the graphic end, they're quite strong that way. So, any of those sorts of things. Now, something to know, if you're interested in animation though, Art Fundamentals at Sheridan, if let's say you want to go to Sheridan, a lot of students choose to go to Art Fundamentals at Sheridan. Great idea. You get to see what's going on in the illustration program and go hang out in the animation hall, see what they're doing. They know what their programs need, so their foundation year is quite good for that. But please keep in mind that you still need some further learning. You need to learn about character design that you won't really learn in depth enough in the Art Fundamentals program. So you're still going to want to find a mentor or some way of learning online, or maybe you might want to work with our instructor, Garth Laidlaw at PortPrep. We have online courses that teach you about how to design characters and stories and do the character rotation and storyboarding, all those things. So make sure you get some extra learning somehow. So I hope all those tips are kind of helpful to you, and just, just draw and just create and have fun with it this summer, and get something done where you feel on top of it and you can go into your final year of high school or into your first year of certificate with some excitement and feeling like, yeah, I can do this thing. And if you need any support along the way, we at Port Prep are here to help you and to motivate you. We've got monthly mentor meetups for affordable way to kind of build some interest. We've got online courses to make it affordable and easy for you to follow. And we've got private classes as well and our summer camp. And so, like I said, it's the first 2 weeks of August. If you want some extra help developing your skills and how to draw figures and understand anatomy and how to draw hands and objects and perspectives and characters, that's what we do. We give the fundamental skills you need to learn how to make your portfolio for animation, illustration, interior design, and architecture. So we look forward to meeting you and helping you out along the way. So thanks for listening, and bye for now.